Hi. Hi there. I have increased the bitrate. I don't know. I have increased it. So hopefully the quality will be a bit better. Hopefully, crossing fingers. I'm not sure still. But yeah. Yo me dice, Scar. This PC is good, but also if I can avoid the possibility of explosion, better. Just in case, you know, I don't have the best track record with technology. So yeah, let's play safe, okay? Let's play safe. Okay, let's continue. The trippy colors. Very, very colorful. 52 hours. Yeah, makes sense. Load, yes. Downstairs the lights were still on. Taco was probably in the exam room. I forgot in which point we left. Like, completely. I headed outside and off to the deathmatch area. Why does he want to go to the deathmatch area? I'm so lost. Oh, let me move the mouse. Okay. The man gained charging at me, desperate to win. I dodged in and struck back. Why is he fighting randoms? What is going on? I didn't make my homework. I didn't check in which point we left last time. This is fine. Back to the hospital. Oh, right. Okay. He took my pants, but held his ground. Then, with a roar, he came lunging at me. The two of us crashed to the ground, and I landed hard on my back. This guy wasn't especially strong, but my physical stamina level was dramatically low. Though I had known full well I wasn't in fighting shape, I had picked a fight with every single person I came across since I got here. Dude! This was my fourth fight, and I had hit my limit. Okay, bye-bye, son. My opponent stranded my hips and punched me with his left fist. Then his right, back and forth. The painful blows made me grimace and grunt. His eyes glistened with the intent to kill. Yeah. The punching stopped, and he pulled something out of his pocket. A knife. Yep, a knife. Then the thought occurred to me. Is this for me? Towa, please avoid it. He raised the knife. I stared at it blankly and prepared for the moment it would bang into my flesh. Oh, Kotaro, thank you! Out of nowhere, the man went flying, and the weight was lifted from my hips. Kotaro, thank you! Confused, I looked over and found Kotaro standing there with a grin in his face. I said, Kotaro stood Mayo and Eiji. My opponent took one look at the trio, jumped out, and ran off like a bat out of hell. Kotaro knelt down and peered at my face as I slowly pushed myself up. Stop! Let Mayu be, okay? Let him be.
荒れたんのか？それともそういうプレイにまで行き着いちゃったか？
Kotaro smirked at me.
別に。つうかお前、デスマッチエリアに来るなって言っただろうがよ。聞いてなかったか？
I didn't check the volume. I hope it's fine.
お化けに襲われちゃうね。
I think I should make it a bit higher. Maybe something like that.
お化け？ああ、幽霊のことですね。
Is the volume of the game better now?
まあもう止めねえけどよ。
I have changed. Is it better now or shall I make it higher? Better now. Okay. Because I usually have like the spot audio on OBS. I need to change it when I'm putting like the song from the beginning of the stream. I have to make it lower. So yeah, I'm not the best at this, but it works somehow, so who cares? I stared dimly at the three of them, then reached out to Kotaro, who was the closest. I grabbed him by the neck, pulled him close, and glared at his eyes.
遊ぼうぜ。
Okay.
やっぱプレイ？
Yeah, Mayo giggled gleefully.
いいぜ。
Gleefully.
と言いたいとこなんだがな。今仕事中なんだよ。
You will find out.
あんまりいい加減にやってると榊さんがキレるからな。また今度やらせろ。
He shrugged playfully, pulled my arm away, and straightened up.
っていうか、トワさん大丈夫ですか？
Eiji leaned forward and waved a hand in front of my face.
ああ、トワはいつもこんな感じだよ。そうですか？なんだか様子が。うわっ。
お前でもいい。
This time I pulled Eiji close. I was willing to settle for anyone. Whether it was sex or violence, whether it was external or internal, I just wanted someone to hurt me. Kids, you need therapy.
トワさん、どうぞ落ち着いて。
Panicked, he grabbed me by my shoulder and gently pushed me back.
トワさん、このまま放っておいたらなんだかヤバそうなんで、村瀬先生のところまで送っていきますね。
なんだよ、本人の好きにさせりゃいいだろうが。
Yeah, this is only the start. And things are going to get nasty.
エイジの優しさ発揮？下心あり？
I don't know how much we are going to be able to see today, but yeah. This route is nasty in general.
そんなんじゃないですよ。心配してるだけで。
Kotaro scratched his head in annoyance.
ま、いいわ。好きにしろ。
Kotaro and Mayu walk off, leaving Eiji behind.
さあ、トワさん、立ってください。帰りましょう。
He put an arm around my shoulders and grimly helped me out. After getting my ass kicked by multiple different people, my brain couldn't think straight. Part of me wanted more pain, but part of me didn't actually care. It was too much effort to think right now. I had no energy for Taku, no energy for my forgotten past, none of it.
トワさんって痩せて見えるけど結構重いんですね。
Wait, what do you mean is this? Eh? Despite his complaints, he helped me hold down the street.
エイジ、
はい。
桐原どうなった？
We already got Kotaro sending, did you forget? That one is on Taku's route, I believe. As I walked, I voiced the question that was on my mind.
まだです。もうちょっと待っててください。
何があったか聞かないのか？
何がって？生稲と桐原のことですか？
ああ。
He murmured to himself in contemplation.
まあ、話してくれるって言うなら聞きたいですけど、そうじゃないなら無理には聞きませんよ。人それぞれみんないろんな事情があるじゃないですか。そうだ、榊さんが心配してましたよ。もしかしたらトワさんに連れなくされてへこんでるかも。そういうタイプじゃないですけどね。
At this, I let out a self-deprecating laugh.
近々連絡してあげてください。よいしょ。と。
He stopped, readjusted his grip on me, and started walking again. As for me, my legs kept giving out, so I rested my weight against him as I stepped down the road. Just Fujieda. I have been preparing everything so we can focus properly on here. Only his bad ending and good ending left. After AJ escorted me back to the clinic, I went back to my place and flopped down on the sofa. As I was dozing off, the sun rose, and there came a knock at the door. Taku walked in, took one look at me lying on the sofa, and stared at me in shock. He must have seen the cuts and scrapes on my face and my dirty clothes. And the room is still a huge mess. Okay. I looked over at him, then closed my eye. My body was drowning in lethargy, and my skin was flushed from the pain, to the point that I could no longer tell which part of my heart. I thought I only closed my eye for a few minutes, but when I opened them again, Taku was gone again.
とは起きた？
I looked over, and this time it was Ray looking at me anxiously. It felt like I had skipped ahead into the future.
具合はどう？
タクは
診察中よ。手が離せないからトアを見ててくれって頼まれたの。お腹空いてない？何か食べる？喉は渇いてない？
酒。
Of course. At this, he raised his eyebrows indignantly and shook his head.
ダメ。水持ってくるから待ってて。
The boss stayed. Yeah. He walked to the sink, then returned crying a glass of water, carrying.
はい。
I sat up, took the glass, and brought it to my lips. I think this is the first time we see him actually drinking water. I must have been really thirsty, because the water tasted amazing, and I downed it all in one sitting.
デスマッチエリアに行ったって聞いたわ。急にどうしちゃったの？
Even I didn't know how to explain it. I was just acting on impulse.
とはユーフォリアの後から様子がおかしいわよね。
That he has drank it on his own accord, let's say. Silently, I gazed down at my empty glass.
あとね、部屋が大変なことになってたから、トアが寝てる間に少し掃除をしたんだけど。これ、何なの？
Perplexed, he held out a stack of papers. The same stack of papers that Taku nearly burnt to us.
それから、あの箱の中身も見ちゃった。ごめんなさい。
Ray looked over at the cardboard box on the coffee table.
今回の絵も見たけど、いつもと違ってすごいっていうより怖い。今までの絵にも不気味な雰囲気はあったけど、それとも全然違う。とにかく見た瞬間に怖いって思ったの。トマの絵をずっと見てきて初めてそう思ったわ。そうしたらこの焼け焦げてる紙も箱の中身も何なのかはわからないけど、すごく嫌な感じがして気になっちゃって。タクもなんだかピリピリしてるし。
He stared hesitantly at the floor. But I didn't have answers for him. I was still trying to figure it out for myself. Figure it out. If anything, Taku probably knew more than I did. I contemplated whether I should explain it all to Ray and ask him to help me. I was just that desperate. I didn't care about keeping it a secret anymore.
多分俺の過去に関係がある。
過去？
I looked at him and nodded.
ああ。ただ俺は何も覚えてない。誰かが送りつけてきてる。
誰かが？どうしてそんなことを？
わからない。わかってるのは俺の体の傷跡について。 誰かが記録をつけてたってことだ。一緒に入ってた写真は実際に俺に傷をつけた連中らしい。ぬいぐるみは死んだ妹のもので、写真に写ってる絵は知らない。
え、待って、どういうこと？全然わからないんだけど。
Thank God there was a line that didn't cut him. I keep skipping over his line. He furrowed his brow in horror.
3枚の顔写真のうち2人には実際にあった。けど今は話を聞くことができない。
He has mentioned that multiple times. He mentioned that on race route at some point. I think Arata asked him about his family, and then it when he mentioned it, and again earlier on this route too. You haven't been paying attention. I see. Couldn't remember. Yeah, it was at the beginning on race route, and it was only for like a couple of lines, but they mentioned it there.
もう一人はエイジに調べてもらってる。あとは
As I recounted all the facts, I paused slightly.
タクが何か知ってる。その紙が焦げてるのはタクが燃やそうとしたからだ。
燃やそうとした？嘘でしょ。
嘘じゃない。俺が受け取るよりも先に開封して流しで燃やしてたのを止めた。理由を聞いても話したがらない。知らない方がいいこともあるって。
The blood drained from his face, and his slightly parted lips began to tremble.
レイ、
He looked back at me, perplexed.
お前は何か知らないのか？
He shook his head, and his eyes glued to mine.
知らないわ。
I regarded him with a deep, probing look, then finally averted my gaze. Ray's smoke didn't fluctuate, which meant he was telling the truth. I set the empty glass on the coffee table and rose to my feet. Water wasn't enough to slake my thirst. I wanted Dude! But not here. If I was gonna drink, then I didn't want to surround myself with all the sources of my stress, like the city painting and the mystery packages. I needed a bar, any bar. But before I could take a step, Ray hastily reached out with both hands to stop me.
待って、どこへ行くの？
飲みに。
ここじゃダメなの？冷蔵庫にまだ入ってるでしょ。それか買ってきてあげるわよ。
外に出たいんだよ。
His lips curled in a guilty frown.
タクにトワを見張ってろって言われてるの。
Oh no, that's not going to help.
一緒に来い。
Oh,
え、でも
I forgot that part.
ルースとは？
Is the stream fine? I see it's taking time to load on YouTube. Maybe the quality was a bit too much for my poor PC. Is it fine? Is it laggy or something? No issues for me? Okay, maybe it's not that bad. Probably in the bot it will be okay, but maybe on a stream it will freeze for a few people.
ルースとならいいだろ。
Like, I see it freeze every now and then on the preview. His eyes wandered in contemplation. At first, everybody knew everybody. It was a familiar environment for Ray, so I expected he would feel comfortable there. Sure enough, he looked back at me and nodded.
分かったわ。でも少しだけよ。
ああ。
コートだけ取ってくるから待ってて。逃げないでね。
He shot me a firm look over his shoulder as he opened the door to leave. When I nodded, he turned and walked briskly from the room. Too many details, but you gotta remember them. They are important. Everything is important. Together, Ray and I left the clinic. We arrived at Roost around 5 p.m. Since the place had only just opened, there were no other customers, and the manager was still setting things up behind the counter.
いらっしゃい。あれ、レイ君も？
He looked a bit surprised to see us.
今日はトアの付き添い。ちょっと早いけどいいかな。
いいよ。
ありがとう。
I sat at the counter, and Ray sat down next to me.
二人ともお任せでいい？
ああ、
何でもいいわ。
The manager nodded avidly, then grabbed two glasses and got to work. We waited for our drinks in total silence. Ray rested his chin in his hand and watched the manager anxiously. After I lit a cigarette, I pulled my phone out of my coat pocket and found I have received a message from Eiji. Apparently, he was having trouble making any headways regarding Kirihara's younger brother, due to the lack of information. Before I knew it, there was a drink on the counter in front of me. I set my cigarettes on the ashtray, then grabbed my glass and downed it. It's always whiskey.
店長、おかわり。
When the manager turned in my direction, I held up my empty glass and gave it a shake. I could feel Ray looking at me, probably judging me for drinking too fast. But I pretended not to notice. Then I plucked my cigarette from the ashtray and took a long, slow drag. Ultimately, I ended up drinking a lot more than I usually could. Who would have guessed? And slammed over the counter. By then, a handful of other customers and staff have arrived, and Yuko and Arata were bustling around the bar like busy bees.
トワ君、潰れちゃった。
みたいね。
珍しいね。どんなに酔っても寝ちゃうことなんてなかったのに。
What do you mean by names? Like the name of the games? Or like the names of each brand? I don't... Which one? Yeah, I think it's better to discuss this after. But dramatical murder... and you will find out.
そうよね。
Ryan the manager murmured amongst themselves as they gazed at me.
私、ちょっとお手洗いに行ってくるわ。店長、トアのこと見ててもらっていい？
ああ、行ってらっしゃい。
You have to play the true route to find out, which means you have to play noise route. Ray rose from his seat and walked off to the bathroom. I had been listening to their conversation. Slowly, I raised my head.
トワ君、具合は？
うん。
I answered abruptly, then staggered to my feet.
どこ行くの？
トイレ。
With that, I started standing across the bar. Then I casually snagged a glance over my shoulder, and when I confirmed that the manager wasn't looking, I headed for the back exit. Dude, no, don't do it. Outside, I pressed a hand against the building wall and slowly walked down the alley. I had pretended to back out on purpose so I could escape Ray's surveillance. Nothing personal, but I didn't want anyone keeping tabs on me. However, I was indeed drunk as a cunt. I can read. I felt sick, and my head ached like I had taken a punch. With no set destination in mind, I stumbled along the dark, narrow back alley. Then I turned the corner and stepped out onto the street, where the garden's neon signs all greeted me at once. This was the red light district, and businesses were blooming. Lot of young customers and newly opened shops. This thing is coming, okay. With a sidelong glance at the pink lights and shooting woman in provocative positions, I kept on walking. Then I stepped on an empty can and lost my balance. Okay. But right as I jumped out to right myself, I bumped into something. That face, my dude. That face.
君は？
As I staggered, the man grabbed my arm and frowned at me. I looked at him and recognized him instantly. The one I attacked out of nowhere. At least he's aware. He quickly let go of my arm and took a step back.
酒臭いな。ずいぶんふらついているようだが、まさかこの間も泥酔していたのか？
His expression was blank, save for his eyes, which were narrowed in suspicion.
そっちこそ真面目そうな顔してこんなところで相手でも探してるのか。
I smeared back at him, but then I saw his smoke and frowned. Normally each person's smoke had a color and a style of swaying, but this man's smoke was pure white. It engulfed him in a mountainous cloud, like someone had exhaled cigarette smoke into a sealed space. The darker and more agitated a person's smoke, the more unstable the mental state. This applied to everyone, including calm and composed people, to at least some degree, and yet his smoke was perfectly static. I had never seen anything like it before.
確かに人を探してはいるが、そういう相手ではない。
So damn, I mean, he's very drunk, so... He replied blankly, his expression as static as his smoke. I didn't really care, so I was about to walk off. We lived in two different worlds. I had nothing to say to him. However, I only made it a few steps before my knees buckled and I fell to the ground. I tried to stand up, but didn't have the strength. I exhaled loudly. Then a hand quietly reached out to me. I may have to mute, sadly. I looked up to find the same man standing in front of me.
村瀬クリニックまで送ろう。
なんで知ってる？
Let's go, new profile picture. And how did he know that I lived there? He quivered and frowned at me and faced.
先日、公園で君を迎えに来た男性から名刺をもらったんだ。スーツのクリーニング代が必要なら連絡してほしいと言われてね。このまま見なかったことにして立ち去るという選択肢もあるんだが、明日のニュースで君を見ることにでもなったら目覚めが悪いからな。
I glared up at him silently, ignored his offered hand, and started to get at myself. But my efforts ended in vain. My body wouldn't cooperate.
何をやってるんだ。ほら。
Thank you. How many do you have now? The man held me up onto my feet. I had only just managed to break away from Ray. I didn't want to go back to the clinic.
行くぞ。
But in the end, I regularly toggled along after him. Too many! Okay. After we arrived outside the clinic, the well-dressed man pulled out his phone and placed a call. I could hear Taco's voice on the other end of the line. After he hung up, we walked around to the side entrance. Then I opened the door and he followed me inside. From there, I very directed him upstairs to the third floor. He's going to see the absolute mess that his room is right now. Not like it's usually clean, but like... The instant the door opened, however, he froze. It was probably appalled at the level of clatter. I stepped away from him, walked to the sofa, and flopped down on my back. Alongside escaped my lips as my body relaxed against the familiar feel of the sofa. 18, I think. Oh, wow. Meanwhile, the man stood shock still for a moment. Then he switched on the lights and began to scroll around the room like it was an art museum. He stopped at the easel and gazed at my painting, then turned and looked at each of the other canvases lying scattered around. Resting with nausea and a light headache, I blankly watched him move.
君は絵を描くのか。
ま
After he nearly completed a full lap around the room, his gaze came to a stop. He was looking at the cardboard box. He walked over and peered inside. Instantly, his face stiffened.
これは君のものなのか。
あどれ？
このぬいぐるみだ。
I have my lemon body into abstract position and look at him.
なんで
いや見かけによらず随分可愛い趣味だと。
妹のだよ。
At this, he frowned his brow.
妹？
ああ
He pushed his lip and stared at the floor. I blinked briefly back. Then, out of nowhere, I felt a burning sensation in my chest. My throat hitched, and I could feel an intense wave of nausea rising rapidly. That voice started blaring in my head again. I rose from the sofa and ran into the bathroom, to the toilet. I lifted the lid, hit the floor, and started puking. The stench of alcohol filled my nostrils. My stomach was still upset, but I felt a lot better after bathing. I pushed myself out from the floor, rinsed my mouth out in the sink, then washed my face while I was at it. My vision was spinning. I tried to walk, but lost my balance and nearly fell. When I reached out to grab something, I accidentally knocked the soap and toothbrush to the floor with a loud clatter.
おい
The man raced into the bathroom.
大丈夫かしっかりしろ
Are you okay? Okay? It's okay. His voice overlapped with a different voice in my head, and the vertigo intensified.
立てるか
He wore both arms around me and pulled me to my feet. Reluctantly, I rested my weight against him. Right as he sat me back down on the sofa, however, the door opened.
と
Taco peeked in. Our eyes met, but I quickly looked away. Then he noticed the other man, inclined his head in greetings and walked in.
お電話いただいたときは手が離せなかったもので、わざわざここまで運んでいただいてすみません。
When the music came, don't worry about it. Or maybe worry a lot. Which one will it be? Taco bowed deeply as he spoke.
いや偶然彼が泥酔して転倒しかけたところを通りかかったんです。さすがに放っておくわけにはいかないと思いました。
本当に前回のことといいご迷惑をおかけしました。それで今もまた何か。
ああ彼が転びそうになったんです。
そうでしたか。
Concerned, Taco looked over at me as I sank back against the sofa.
少し休ませた方がいいでしょうね。
As he spoke, he faced me with an unusually sharp look, or so I thought, but then he shifted his gaze back to Taco. Swifted. Was I just saying things?
まあ幸いにもこちらは病院ですし、私が心配する必要もないとは思いますが。それではそろそろ失礼します。
あ、待ってください。
The man walked briskly to the door, but Taco flung him down.
高里組の弁護士の方ですよね。確か名前は藤枝さん。
Green smoke? I think Inada, the guy with green hair that sometimes just tell us stuff he found out, has green smoke, I think. Oh, you mean the background colors? That has been there since the beginning, though.
ああはいそうです。
Many colors, but that you didn't notice up until now. There has been those colors on the background since the beginning. Really, really. They have been there since day one. It's one of the first things I noticed, that even though the backgrounds look realistic, they have this watercolor kind of effect over them. He pulled a small case from his jacket and handed Taco a business card.
改めまして藤枝と申します。
お噂は金がね。
You need to pay attention to the details, man. It made my impression. Fair enough.
何かありましたらいつでもご連絡を。
With a textbook response and a polite smile, Fujieda left the room. After he was gone, Taco stared down at the business card for a long moment. Then, with a sigh, he slid it onto the pocket of his lab coat. Apparently, that guy was a lawyer. I leaned back against the sofa and thought about it. Judging from his body language, he certainly seemed uptight. But thinking about Fujieda only made me feel worse, so I rested my head against the sofa and slowly closed my eye. I had slept for a relatively long time. When I opened my eye, I found Taco sitting in the chair across from the sofa. Had he stayed here in my room ever since Fujieda left? He was bent forward, hands clasped together between his legs, staring down at his feet. When he noticed me staring, he looked up.
起きたか。具合はどうだ。
Was he worried he was going to run away again, and that's why he stayed? I didn't have the energy for words, so I just grunted. I remember having a nightmare again, but couldn't recall the details of it. We have been deprived of a nightmare. This is not fair. The headache and nausea were gone, but in their place was muddy lethargy.
レイが心配してたぞ。連絡はしておいた。
Come to think of it, I have given Ray the sleep back at roost. I sat and grabbed my phone off the coffee table. Sorry enough, my notes were all barrage of missed calls and messages from Ray. Poor Ray.
謝らせてくれ。
Taco spoke quickly as he gazed into my
お
eye.
前宛ての郵便物を勝手に開けて燃やしてしまったこと。本当に悪かった。レイにひどく怒られたよ。もちろんレイに言われたから謝ろうと思ったわけじゃないんだが。
なんで燃やした？
I narrowed my eye at him without rising from the sofa. He fell silent in contemplation, then looked back at me intently.
お前には必要ないと判断したからだ。
必要ない。
He nodded faintly. Rage flared up inside me.
つまり、お前はあの郵便物が何なのか、その意味を知ってるってことだな。
I rose from the sofa, grabbed the cardboard box I had kicked to the corner, and tossed it down at him.
少し前に届いた。
これは
One look inside the box, and the color drained from his face.
その意味も当然わかるんだろう。これは俺の過去に関係するものだ。お前が燃やした郵便物もそうだよな。そうと分かっていて、俺には必要ないと判断したって。
そうだ。
He took the word out, and I felt the blood rush to my head. Why was Taku meddling in my businesses? What did he know about my past?
誰かが俺に過去を思い出させようとしてる。こんなもんまで送りつけられたら嫌でも気になる。そいつが誰なのかを突き止める。それに過去を思い出せばこの意味不明の写真やぬいぐるみが何なのかもわかるはずだ。それを必要ないってなんでお前が勝手に決めるんだよ。
I stood in front of him and glared down at him in ice fury. He looked at me, frowning sorrowfully for a moment, then closed his eyes, shutting me out.
思い出さなくていい。
は？
過去に何があったかなんて知らなくていい。
言えよ。知ってることを話せ。
He gave me a harsh stare and shook his head.
ダメだ。お前が見る悪夢も過去に近づくにつれてひどくなってる。違うか？
I hadn't thought to connect the dots like that. But now that I started to think about it, my nightmares became more frequent after I started digging into my past.
症状を悪化させてまで過去を思い出す必要はない。
お前が決めることじゃない。
俺はお前をずっと見てきた。どう言われようと これだけは譲らんぞ。
In my anger, I nearly kicked the box across the room. But just then, I realized something was missing. The bunny was gone. Taku followed my guest to the box and frowned dubiously.
お前さっきぬいぐるみって言ったよな。入ってないようだが。
入ってた。
Glowing, I grabbed him by the collar. The chair creaked as I lifted him halfway out of his seat.
お前が取ったんじゃないのか。
違う。
He stood back firmly. I didn't need to look at his smoke to know that he wasn't lying this time. While I did catch him burning my peppers, I couldn't imagine he could try to burn the bunny too. No, it was him. I gazed into Taku's eyes as I carefully reached into his coat pocket with my free hand. I swiftly swiped the business card, then relinquished my grip on it. He didn't seem to realize I had studied it.
もう一度言うが、勝手にお前宛てのものを燃やしたことは本当に悪いと思ってる。俺はお前と喧嘩がしたいわけじゃない。分かってくれ。
With that, he left the room. In the end, he refused to tell me anything. He insisted it was for my own good, but without any explanation, it came off something like total bullshit. As resentment is loaded in my gut, I looked down at the business card in my hand. Fujieda Ryo. It's so weird to see their food names because I get used to call them by the game name. He seemed rather interested in the bunny toy. Taku seemed alarmed by it too. So what was the story behind the bunny? Technically, it was possible Taku took it while I was sleeping, but judging from his reaction just now, he wasn't lying. His smoke confirmed it. Therefore, Fujieda was the only person who could have taken it.
あいつ。
Maybe he knew something about it. I pulled out my coat, opted for the stairs over the elevator, and dashed out of the building. He wrote so much weirder. That's why at some point I said his route is something that Twitter will probably hate a lot. I know why he's doing it, and he has very strong reasons for doing this, because you will find out later why. Like, no wonders he wants to hide his past, like... So yeah. A crescent moon hung in the pitch black sky. Exhaling white fog into the cold, crisp air, I ran off into the night. It's no wonder, yeah. And right now, he still doesn't know. He's just starting to kind of get a feeling, and he's already this messed up, so... The address on Fujieda's business card brought me to a 10-story building located in District C. Apparently, the 4th floor was home to the Fujieda law office. It was 3 a.m. Naturally, the entrance was shuttered. I checked the front and back doors, then decided to camp out in a nearby alley to wait for Fujieda. Yeah, this is something that happened. He's going to stay here until it opens. Like something a very sane person could do. Since he was a Takasato lawyer, I couldn't very well ask Eiji about it. I was on my own for this one. So I sat up against the wall and killed time smoking cigarettes as the sun rose above me. Naturally, the wall and ground were both just as cold as the air. My fingers were starting to go numb. Every time I crashed a cigarette butt, I lit out a new one. Yeah. But eventually I ran out of things, so I crammed up the empty pack and stuffed it into my pocket. Kicking the bats away with my feet, I pulled out my cell phone to check the time. 6 a.m. The streets were empty when I got here, but now I could see a few passersby here and there. Honestly, it didn't have to be Fujieda himself. If someone could arrive to open the fourth floor office, I could just call them and ask about Fujieda. 2 more hours went by. 8 a.m. The shutter over the front entrance was raised, revealing an elevator lobby with floor-to-ceiling glass windows. A security guard stood at the front as a handful of people trickled in. I dialed the number listed on the business card. The moment he sees it's opened, let's call. The phone rang and rang, but no one answered. Maybe give them some time to get into the building? Eventually, no one was up there yet. I ended the call and resumed my stakeout. He's so desperate. Another hour went by, 9 a.m. The exhaustion was making my brain fuzzy, so I pulled my phone back out and called again.
はい、藤枝法律事務所です。
After about 6 rings, a calm feminine voice answered.
Oh.
I had waited for so long that I couldn't think straight, and the words didn't come to me right away.
と藤枝弁護士に取り次いでほしいのですが。
失礼ですが、どちら様でしょうか。
村瀬クリニックの村瀬と申します。先日藤枝先生が受診された際にご相談いただいた件についてお話があるのですが。
かしこまりました。少々お待ちください。
She put me on hold for a few seconds, then returned.
藤枝ですが、本日は出勤しないようです。
そうですか。明日はいかがでしょう。
それが明日以降も未定となっておりまして、お急ぎでしたら折り返すように伝えますが。
It's so weird to... I guess it's Keigo? Like formal Japanese, it's so weird. Hearing towards speaking in this more formal way.
そうですね。お願いします。
それでは連絡先をお願いいたします。
I gave her my number. She repeated it back to me for confirmation, then told me she would let him know. Once the call was over, I exhaled and stuffed my phone back into my pocket. I was craving nicotine, but I already smoked the oldie pack I brought. Now that the new Fujieda wasn't coming, there was no point in me staying here. I rose to my feet and ambled down the street. Semi-polite conversation. There was other one in, I think, Ray's, no, Madarame's route, or it was Ray, when he put on his receptionist kind of voice. This gremlin is polite. Sometimes, very rarely, he can be polite. As the bright sunshine streamed down on me from directly overhead, I headed to the park. I was exhausted after pulling an all-nighter, and surprisingly, I walked over to an empty bench and plopped down onto it. Then I pulled my phone out of my pocket and checked the screen. Not a notice from Fujieda. Meanwhile, the sunlight stabbed into my eye without mercy. Phone in hand, I tipped my hand down and closed my eye. A short while after, I hear footsteps approaching. I look up at the sound of my name and found Sagaki standing right in front of me.
こんなところにいたのか。お前の部屋まで行ったんだが、出かけたって聞いて探したんだぞ。
He let out a heavy sigh, then jerked his head in the direction of the park entrance. A black car was parked there. Igarashi picked it out from the lower passenger side window. Wait.
車に乗れ。話がある。
わかった。
Frankly, I was too tired to move, but I slowly heaved myself to my feet. I followed him to the car, then climbed onto the back seat. Sagaki climbed in after me and pulled the door shut.
お前、どこをほっつき歩いてるんだ。
どこって適当に。
まあ、あちこちうろつくのはお前の趣味みたいなもんだ。しばらくの間、気をつけろ。特に遠野にはな。
I wandering around like a vagabond is something of a hobby for you. Damn.
当の何かあったのか。
様子がおかしいんだ。それに誰かに狙われてるなんて言ってるらしい。
狙われてる？誰に？
さあな。俺は知らん。
I'm replaying this road, so why the high tension? I kind of get why. Here's that casually.
今な、大事な時期なんだ。高里組にとっても、新興組にとっても、俺にとってもな。
He murmured to himself, and although his face was tan, I could tell he was serious. When he turned back to me, however, he was smiling again.
ところで、最近調子はどうだ？
I can't say anything because it's a spoiler. You will find out.
別に
えらく体調が悪そうだが。
今に始まったことじゃない。
そう言われちまったら納得するしかねえな。
He chuckled.
一応聞いておくが、親父の相続についてはどうする？
必要ない。
そう言うと思ってたよ。まあ戸籍でも何でも気になることがあれば相談しろ。弁護士を紹介してやる。藤枝って先生だ。なんだ、知ってるのか？
いや。
お前、顔色が悪いな。
トワさん、大丈夫っすか？
A concerned Igarashi turned and looked at me from the front passenger seat.
別にいつもと同じだろ。
いや、疲れてるように見えるぞ。村瀬のところまで送るか？
いい。
I needed to keep looking for Fujieda, but when I shook my head, Sakaki let out an exasperated sigh.
たく、その辺で倒れても知らんからな。
ああ。
I nod and hop off the car.
気をつけろよ。
Sakaki waved goodbye. Then the window rolled up and the car took off. As I watched them go, I thought about Fujieda. Where could I find him? For now, my only option was to keep looking. With that, I turned and headed downtown. I know it has been 1 hour. It has been 1 hour already. In the end, I searched all over the place, but never found Fujieda. So I gave up and went to roost. That didn't feel like almost 1 hour. I walked in and sat at the counter like always.
いらっしゃい。
The manager greeted me with a warm smile.
お任せ。
ああ。
More whiskey! After a brief exchange, I pulled my cigarettes and lighter from my coat pocket and set them on the counter. Then I lit one up and gazed around the unusually crowded bar. Ray was walking from table to table, carrying a tray of drinks. As I watched him, he spotted me and looked back at me in alarm. Wait, it's not whiskey! I can't believe it's not whiskey! I look back at the counter. At some point, a glass of translucent liquid has arrived in front of me. I set my cigarette down, reached for my glass, and took a sip.
今日はウォッカベースにしてみたよ。どう？
うまい。
The manager nods to him said, please.
そういえば、さっきトワ君のファンが来てたんだよ。
I don't know about drinks. Don't ask me about that. I set my glass down, took another drag of my cigarette, and brought him to continue.
店に飾ってる絵は誰が描いたのかって聞かれたから、ユーフォリアだって教えたんだ。そしたら、すごくいいって言ってたよ。
へえ。
Hide me, though. As I gave a half-hearted response, Ray walked over. He looks angry. He hid one hand on the counter. Instantly, I could tell he was in a bad mood.
ねえトワ、スーツを着たメガネの男が来たんだけど、あんたの知り合いなの？
Is it Fujieda? Or is it... I forgot his name, the other doctor. I forgot his name. I was expecting him to yell at me for giving him the sleep, but apparently not. Wait a minute.
スーツにメガネ。
そうなんでうちに来たのか不思議になるくらいきっちりとした神経質そうな男だったわ。開店したらすぐに来たの。トワの知り合いだって言ってたけど本当？
I don't think Fujieda knows he comes to roost. So. It had to be Fujieda. There could be no mistake. So Fujieda came to roost. What for?
トワ
Raise all their R. He's a big boy. Raise on my face, Stephen, and from his brown in concern.
何か言ってたか。
GMP? Wait, what?
言ってたっていうよりトワのことをみんなに聞きまくってたの。店長も私もお客さんにもよ。
Get the mood here. We first need at least 1K subscribers here. So, tell people to subscribe to my YouTube channel.
その人だよ。僕がさっき話したトワ君のファンって。
あの人全然ファンって感じじゃなかったわよ。それに店長にトワの絵のことを聞いてたわ。トワが描いた絵を見たことがあるから似てると思ったらやっぱりそうだったって。
Ah, okay, so it was Fujieda, it wasn't the other doctor, whose name I forgot. I can't remember. Well, he did get a look at the paintings lying around my room.
それでね、店長がユーフォリアって名前を教えたらすごい食いついてきたのよ。目の色が変わったって感じで、どうしてその名前にしたんだとかなんとか。でもユーフォリアの名付け親って私でしょ。だからそう言ったの。元ネタはトワの部屋のイーゼルにかかってる懐中時計に刻まれた単語だって。
Impossible, I know. So Fujieda was interested in Euphoria. But why? This only created more questions.
すごく丁寧な物腰で真面目そうな感じだったけど、あの人本当にトワの知り合いなの？
Running over the counter and stared at me.
嘘じゃない。
そうならいいんだけど。
He nodded, but he still didn't look entirely convinced. I felt deep into thoughts. I didn't remember ever telling Fujieda my name, but if he worked for the Takasa Togumi, then he probably had a way of finding out. Besides, this was Shinkome. If he introduced himself as a friend of mine, then he could probably find out about me pretty easily. So probably that's why he knows he goes to Roost, because I don't think Towa mentioned it to him that he goes to this bar previously. Including the fact that Roost was my favorite bar. Yeah. Franny reluctantly walked away, but I didn't even notice. I just stared blankly into the space. Here we go. The room was dimmed with scarlet light. The silence was terrifying. I was all alone again. It was scary. Someone stood beside me as I lay on the floor. They were silhouetted by the light, so I couldn't see their face. But I could feel fear slowly seeping into my bones like fabric in water. The fear clung to me at all times, neither swelling nor fading. At some point, my heart grew numb to it. I got used to feeling scared until eventually I didn't feel anything at all. My vision was fuzzy, save for one thing. A toy. It was. Yeah, that's right. It was. The toy is very cute. I snap awake. Another nightmare. How many times had this happened now? I could only ever remember the biggest details, and yet it always left a bad taste in my mouth. As I pushed myself out from the sofa, the headache and nausea quickly set in. Okay, bye myth, have a nice sleep. I staggered to my feet and walked into the bathroom. Then I left the toilet lid, crouched down and puked. He's in such a bad shape, man. My hairband receded slightly. I gargled at the sink, then went back to the living room. Just then, I glanced at the pocket watch on the easel. This was the same pocket watch Ray had mentioned yesterday. It was designed like an antique with an engraving on the back. I sat down on the sofa and grabbed my phone off the coffee table. It was now 9 a.m. Still no word from Fujieda. Looking for something, Christmas is coming, weather, death counts, missing persons and more. Yeah, we already know all of this. With a sign, I tossed my phone to the other end of the sofa and switched on the TV. It felt like ages since I had last heard the drone of the TV. Lately, I have been too distracted to even think about the silence. As I stepped blankly in the direction of the screen, my phone buzzed. Oh. I grabbed it and looked at it. Ikuina-san has committed suicide. His body was found at his place of residence. And one more thing. Asakura-san has been taken to the general hospital. I'm told he's comatose. Drug overdose, apparently. Kirihara-san also committed suicide a few years ago, but he has a younger brother, Muzuno. I looked into him and see what I can find. Not very good news. But it was just a message from Eiji. Mildly disappointed, I opened the message to read it, and instantly frowned. Ikuina had committed suicide. Not only that, but Asakura was now in a coma at the hospital. Apparently, it was caused by a drug overdose. Lastly, he noted that he still hadn't managed to track Kirihara no Zumo down. Now, I could never speak to Ikuina or Asakura ever again. Asakura, maybe. But Ikuina, definitely not. It almost felt like someone had purposely cut me off from them. Maybe someone wanted to sum them up. But who? Dizzy, I leaned my full weight against the back of the sofa. Then I tossed my phone down and laid an arm over my eye. Was it all connected, or was it really just a series of well-timed coincidences? Then my phone buzzed again. I thought it would be another email, but instead it was a call from Fujieda. I answered it immediately. This was the first thing he said to me. I sat up straight. He hung up instantly. Then, before I could even react, the door opened. Okay. The timing is so funny. He was just waiting the same way. The one was waiting outside the building. It is so funny. Okay. And in walked Fujieda himself. Reflexively, I jumped to my feet.
確認のために電話をした。
He explained without batting an eyelash.
確認。
ここへ来る前にクリニックへ電話して村瀬先生に聞いたんだ。
Okay, that explains, but it is still very funny, okay?
事務所へ電話しましたかと。していないとの返答だった。それなると君に取り継いでもらえるか聞いたんだが不在にしていると。君に関しては少々疑わしいと思って確認の電話をさせてもらったというわけだ。
Did he sneak from the back door of the clinic without trying to avoid anyone from the staff to notice him? Esto es allanamiento de morada. You don't know how the crime is called in English, but you know when you sneak into someone's house without their consent. Eh, this is not very legal, my dude.
事務所に電話をかけてきた時、電話番号をことつけただろう。あの番号は本当に君のものだったんだな。
As he explained all this, I stared back at him coldly.
ちょうどいい。
Trespassing
こっちもあ
probably.
んたに聞きたいことがある。
Si no te agarra la parecía GMP, ¿no? Breaking and entering. I mean, he didn't break in necessary, but you know. Es una broma, YouTube. Ay, anyway.
だから事務所にまで電話をしてきたのか。
ああ。ぬいぐるみを持って行ったのはあんただろ。
何のことだ。
His expression didn't shift, and neither did his smoke. But I knew for a fact that it must have been him.
しらばっくれるな。
何か証拠でもあるのか。
I clamped my tongue in frustration.
私も君に聞きたいことがある。
とはいつまで寝てるの？そろそろ起きて。
Just then, the door swung open and a cheerful voice rang out. Ray walked into the room, saw us, and froze. Fujieda glanced at him, then turned back to me.
君は絵を描くとき、ユーフォリアという別名を名乗っているそうだな。君の友達の提案だと本人から聞いたが、その名を採用した理由は？
やだ、それ私のこと。
Ray pressed a hand to his mouth.
あんたには関係ない。
約1ヶ月半前、生稲隆という青年と会ったな。その青年が昨日自殺した。調べてみたところ、表向きには彼が何か大きな問題を抱えていたとか、そういうことは特になかったようだ。
He was a bit fucked up on the head, but sure. He paused, dared to gaze at me quietly.
ユーフォリア、結構な趣味じゃないか。ルーストのスタッフと客は親切だな。こちらの質問に快く答えてくれた。君が密かに行っていること、特に生稲の件に関しては自殺幇助に該当する可能性があるが、別に脅そうというつもりではない。少し話を聞きたいだけだ。わかるだろう。
His mouth was unnaturally still and static. It was impossible to tell whether he was lying. I gazed contently into his eyes as I opened my mouth to speak.
名前に理由なんてない。何でもよかった。
そうか。君の友達の話によると、ユーフォリアの由来は懐中時計だそうだな。その懐中時計を見せてもらえないか。
Silently, I jerked my chin in the direction of the easel.
少し借りてもいいだろうか。
He didn't seem to care about my answer because he pulled it off the easel and put it in his pocket. My dude be stealing things like it's no business while threatening other people. Okay. With legal action.
レイ、どうした？何かあったか？それともトアはまだ起きて？
Just then, Taku peeked in.
あんた。
As soon as he laid eyes on Fujieda, his expression hardened.
先ほどは失礼しました。
Is he really going to take the clock like it's nothing?
なんでここに？
先生はトワさんがいないとおっしゃられていましたが、念のために確認をと思いまして。部屋にいたようでよかったです。
Fujida's voice was so level you couldn't even realize he was being sarcastic until he smirked that is. It's a super light smirk, but like... my dude. Taku glared back at him silently.
では、私はこれで。
何を調べてる？高里組に言われたのか？
When I called after him, he stopped and looked over his shoulder.
ただの君の絵のファンだよ。
Sure. His voice was flat and emotionless. Then he continued.
聞いてばかりでは申し訳ないから最後に一つ、こちらからも情報を提供しよう。昔ユーフォリアという店があったことを知っているか？
Oh.
その話を知ったときこう思った。 君と同じ名前だ。
Oh. With that meaningful comment, he left the room. As the door shut behind him, I stood there blankly. Ray and Taku were both frozen in place. So what if there used to be some kind of menace called euphoria? What of it?
と大丈夫か？
I didn't answer or even look at him. I still didn't feel like talking to him.
急にあの人がいたからびっくりしたけど、とわも嫌な気分になるわよね。
Sensing the awkward tension, Ray spoke stiffly while glancing between me and Taku.
ちょっと常識がないわよね。勝手に人の部屋に入るなんて。
俺は仕事に戻るぞ。
Taku muttered quickly before leaving the room.
私も戻る。とはまだ休んでてもいいからね。
Ray, you are so good for this one. He's so sweet. With that, Ray rushed out the room after him. Fujieda. He was the most unreadable person I have ever met in my life. Do I remember you? Of Mother Apple. Staring into his eyes didn't ruffle him in the slightest, not even his smoke changed. What was he after? I couldn't figure it out. Who even was he? All I knew for sure was that he wasn't remotely trustworthy. When the clinic closed for lunch break, there came a small knock at my door, and Ray timidly walked in.
久しぶりにトワの部屋でご飯でも食べようかなって思って。
He held up the paper bag on his hand, and I could see the local bakery's logo on the front.
どう？
He fixed me with an inquiring look.
あ
Another version of me. No. I answered curtly, then sat down on the sofa. I wasn't really in the mood to talk to anyone, but I didn't have the energy to shut him down. He cleared a space on the messy coffee table and set a plate down. Then he set out all the pastries and sat in the chair across from me.
また全然ご飯食べてないんでしょう。少し無理してでも食べた方がいいわ。
あの懐中時計
When I finally spoke out, Ray flinched and froze in place.
お前が部屋に転がってるのを見つけてユーフォリアって刻印のことを俺に話したんだよな。
ええ、そうね。
Writing my memories, I
絵
continued.
を描く時の名前をユーフォリアにしたらどうかって言ったのもお前だ。
そうよ。でも私同じ名前のお店があるなんて知らなかったわ。
Flustered, he shook his head in protest.
別にお前を疑ってるわけじゃない。
うん。
Nodding, he slumped his shoulders.
あの時計、あの人が持ってっちゃったのよね。大切なものなのに。
大切なもの
I looked at him suspiciously, and his expression stayed dramatically. His smile changed color and started swaying faintly. He was hiding something. I narrowed my eye.
どういう意味だ。
それは、だって大切でしょ。
俺はあれが大切だなんて言ったことはない。
でも
Ren was panicked to the point of tears. Then finally he began and looked back at me.
前にさっきの人がルーストに来た時、ユーフォリアって名前にやけに食いついてきたって話したじゃない。ユーフォリアって聞いたら思い出すのは懐中時計だったから、タクに聞いたの。そしたらあの時計はトワのお母さんの形見なんだって言われて。でもトワには黙っておいてほしいって言われてたの。覚えてないならその方がいいからって。それって本当にいいのかなっていう疑問はあったの。お母さんの形見なのにって黙っていてごめんなさい。
He closed his eyes in shame. Apparently, the pocket watch was a memento from my mother's. I had no emotional reaction to this information. Of course, it was perfectly ironic that I had named myself Euphoria after an engraving on my mother's watch. But what of the establishment called Euphoria? Was there some connection between the two?
ね、よかったらパン食べてね。少しでもいいから。
Breaking the heavy silence, Ray smiled awkwardly and tapped the plate of pastries.
それと今日お店でクリスマスパーティーがあるの。無理にとは言わないけど、大丈夫そうならトアも来てね。
It is really pretty. I had no interest in the party itself, but all the Rust regulars were invited each year, including the people Fujieda spoke to about me. I nodded and Ray nodded a relieved smile.
待ってるわ。
As he watched the next shop opening, actually a few people have asked if I will have them back, so probably I will still have them for pre-order once more. Even though they were a true headache. Hopefully this time there won't be any more issues. The party was tonight. I slowly pushed myself out from my reclined position against the sofa. Then I grabbed the closest pastry and took a small bite. At this, Red's smile brightened all the more. But I wasn't suddenly angry or hungry or anything. I just knew I might need the energy for later, so I figured I will stock up. Slowly, I chewed the pastry without even tasting it. One banana. So there is peace at home, I see. As I thumb out smoking and watching TV, the dark of night set in. But there was still time before the Christmas party. Maybe I will go kill time somewhere. I crashed my cigarette in the ashtray, rose to my feet and pulled on my coat. The first exploration of this route. The first exploration, it took a while. Murase Clinic. There are only a few places we need to visit though, so that's nice. I sent one gaze and looked over. I thought I saw something slip into the shadow of a building. Or was my mind playing tricks on me? Inada! Complete with magic. It's you are Towa, right?
Oh.
Ah no, his smoke is like light purple. Never mind. I thought it was green. It's budget aging. Just because it's right, you don't have to say it like that. What is it? I'm going to feed you in. This information will surely come in handy, I think. Did you know Shinkomi has a history of unsolved cases and mysterious deaths? Another one happened just recently too. A man's body was found with all his teeth and fingerprints forcibly removed. Ew. The cause was covered, but the investigation got cut short. Nefarious powers at work. I'm sure of it. Rumor has it a ghost haunts the deathmatch area. He's still around. Spooky. It's the spirit of a tall man wearing a black coat, and they say it's pretty violent. Is it really a ghost? Unrelated, but there is a group in black that it's been amazing people on the streets. What is the world coming to? So Kirihara is also still around. They say Sagaki is into the next Takasato leader. He is the candidate with the most support from the lower ranked members, and he is fairly popular, with the civilians too. Come to think of it, rumor has it Tono's been disappearing lately. The timing suggests it's related somehow. Before Shinkomi rose to prosperity, the Tokyo Olympics Games ended in failure, and the subsidiate casino industry went unnoticed. Then Takasato Ryojiro bought Shinkomi and brought it back to life. although I hear he went about it rather forcefully. But if he breathed new life into Syncomic carcass, then maybe it proves he was competent. This is sudden, but are you searching for anything right now? Whether you have trouble finding something, I hear the trick is to look at your old possessions, like photos. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Who the hell are you exactly? I'm Inada. Bye. Such a weird interaction. It is. Walk around and he's like, let me dump you with all the info. Let me info dump you. In verbal form. Yeah. The actual one is here. Otto, Merry Christmas. Hey. Just don't act excited to see me or anything. Not that you ever do. Anyway, perfect timing to was and took a look at this. Know what this is? A bomb. Color me impressive. Whether you wanna show me something is usually a bomb. Cuts out the back then. This one is known as C4. I have heard that before. It was sent to my house, so I figured I will beef it out a little, then return it to send. It was sent to your house? Correct. Admittedly, I have made enemies of quite a few folks, so this happens from time to time. But I gotta say, this guy made a pretty risky move. By letting me upgrade his C4, I can now level an entire skyscraper. Isn't that incredible? Another newspaper. I don't remember. It's supposed to be negative.
Negative.
Incredibly illegal. Come on, I mean, it is, but still. Honestly, I'm glad he sent it to me. I'm grateful to him.
Yes.
Was a terrorist. Always has been. Then I'm happy for you. Anyway, I gotta prep this bad boy for seatbelt. So I will be going now. See you around, Towasan. Because that's the normal thing to do when you receive a bomb. You make it stronger, and then you return it. Of course. Now it's Gower Street. Doesn't this silhouette look familiar? Doesn't this look like an official art of a certain game by the same company? Joji? No, this is Joji from Sweet Pool, basically. There is an official art that if you look for it, you should be able to find it super easily. It's very iconic. Nothing much. You guys on the clock? Yep, but we have got a little time before the next gig, so we are just strolling around. Talk. We were just talking about our hometown. Kotaro is Shinkomi, but mine is different. You weren't born in Japan, right? Right, I grew up in a grassy place, hunting and tending to horses. Horses? Apparently Mayu worked as a mercenary back at his home country. I was born here in Shinkomi. Kotaro was actually the dog's name, but at some point it became my name too. Okay. You were given a dog's name? I was a dumpster baby, so I never had a real name to begin with. Oh. Towa, where were you born? Positive. Shinkomi. Thought so. You have the look of a born and breathing Shinkominian? What? His face looks like Shinkomi? You know, it's weird. I have known Mayu here for a long time, and while he seemed completely different on the outside, we are kinda similar. You and me are the same? No, we are not. Oh, shut up. I said similar and different, didn't I?
まあ
If you ask me, you look like two peas in a pot.
マジかよ。
For real? Guess I will ask AG too. Have you heard of an establishment called
ど
Euphoria?
ういうことだ？
Isn't that your artist name? Apparently, there used to be a business with the same name. Never heard of it. You?
さあね。
No clue.
ま
Gotcha.
たな。
Sorry, pal. Anyway, see you later, Towa.
またね。
See you. Vais a real close, idiot. I don't think it will work. So now it's Hagoita Street. Why did I have to come here? There is literally nothing. I will check every place just in case. That was weird. I assume some kind of conversation should have been... I could check it out while I'm at it. I will check everything then. I will check every location just in case. I don't want to miss something. District C. What happens if you press talk if there is no one there? I'm pretty sure, like... No, don't. Okay, now. This is why I wasn't able to get the ending when I was playing the first time, because you have to go all over to get this specific point, even though when you go the first time there is nothing. As I was walking down the street, a familiar motorbike flew past. I squinted at the rider as he disappeared into the distance. Sure enough, it was Ray. But where was he headed? Mildly curious, I continued minding my own business. That line of conversation, for some reason, is very relevant, which I'm going to assume he still has to deal with the money matches. I stick out of my pack. Yeah, I remember that. I will just check everything just in case, but with that, it should be enough. More a second. I will check everything just in case. I don't want to replay it all just for missing one line. Okay, the only one that is left is Towa's atelier. And now that everything has been checked, let's go to Roost. Okay. Exploration over. And so I headed off to the Christmas party at Roost. And surprisingly, I found the place decked out in Christmas decoration and packed full of party guests. Due to my continued poor health, it all felt even more glowing than usual, stabbing into my eye and ears. The room was full of people's smoke, wielded together in a hideous rainbow of colors. The guests and employees were all wearing different costumes, talking and drinking merrily. I slipped through the crowd and made my way to the counter.
トワ君、メリークリスマス。
I forgot this. The manager smiled at me from behind the counter wearing a Santa hat.
ってどうしたの？顔色が悪いけど。
The same event as before? Yeah, because no matter in which route you are, this party is going to still happen.
人混みは苦手だ。
At this, his smile stiffened.
苦手なのに毎年来てくれてありがとう。注文はお任せでいい？
ああ。
He said about making my drink. I sat down, lit a cigarette, and after I took a long drag, I felt my irritable mood improve a bit. As I exhaled, I looked around the bar. The regulars were all crowded around the tables, wearing flashy costumes. I took another round and contemplated whether to go ask about Fujieda. Then my drink arrived.
お待たせ。
Angling my head, took my drink in one hand, then pinched my cigarette between my fingers with the other. But before I could take a step, I spotted two familiar faces headed my way.
メリークリスマスとはハッピーホリデー
It was Jung and Honami.
今日はレイがお休みで残念だけど楽しんでいってよね
レイが休み
The two of them exchanged a glance.
あら、聞いてないの？今日はお休みするって連絡があったのよ。
レイ、毎年すっごくパーティーを楽しみにしてるのにほんと残念よね
レイの分も楽しんでいってね、どうは
Grinding, they walked off to talk to the other guests. Ray wasn't at this party, but he was the one who invited me here. Did he get sick or something? Did you forget you saw him riding his motorbike earlier? Thinking back to our interaction at lunchtime, I made my way across the crowded room to the equally crowded tables.
いや
I called out with a smile, and a group of regulars looked up at me. One of them I have spoken to a handful of times in the past. His eyes sparkled gleefully at me.
あれ、トワ君だ。メリークリスマス。
Does he has his eyes? That dude, like the glare of his eyes.
どうしたの珍しいねトワ君から声かけてくるなんて
みんな盛り上がってるし、たまには変わったことでもしようかと思って。
Whenever he smiles like that, I get so worried. Squinting, I took a drag of my cigarette, then exhaled the smoke with a faint smile.
いいね、いいね。せっかくのクリスマスだしね。乾杯。
Merry Christmas. Following the flow of the conversation, I cleaned my glass with his and took a sip. The fact that out of all of the games that they have released, this is the only one that is settled around the Christmas like time, kind of. It's very funny to me. This is a Christmas game, technically.
あ、店長、おかわりお願いします。
The regular raised a hand in the direction of the counter.
今だから言っちゃうんだけどさトワ君って妙な色気があるよね
Cursed Christmas game? Very cursed. One of the drunks, red faded regular, shot me a meaningful look. At this, I playfully squared a brown.
俺にあんた、傷フェチなの？
いやまあこんな店に通ってるんだし傷は別に嫌いじゃないよでもそういうの抜きにしてもトワ君に流し目で見られるとちょっとドキッとしちゃうみたいなね
謎が多い感じするもんな。暴いてみたくなるような雰囲気はあるよね。
ほらトワ君って割と誰でも OK なんでしょ
He whispered, smirking.
気分が乗ればな。
その話マジなんだ。俺にもチャンスある？男は未経験だけど興味はあるんだよな。
Is that his name? Yeah.
そういう気分の時だったら相手するよ。
マジか。
After a lack of his drunken advances, I decided to cut to the chase.
ところで聞きたいことがあるんだけど。
何
スーツを着た硬そうな男のこと覚えてるか？店に来たんだろ。
At this, the regulars all not.
ああ覚えてるよトワ君のファンってやつでしょ
なんでこんな店に来るんだって感じの人ね。
そいつ俺について聞き回ってたんだって。
そうそう、いろいろ聞かれたよ。トワ君、あの人に何かしたの？
何も。ただその男はユーフォリアって名前の店を探してるらしい。
それってトワ君と同じ名前だね
Is there something similar in Tomonochi? Unnaturally attractive? I could say Akira has a softer vibe to what Towa has. It's not exactly the same character. He's more relaxed in a sense, but I guess he's more chill. I will say the chillest one is Aoba. Then you have Joji, who is also very chill, but he's a bit confused. Then Akira. I haven't played Lamento, so I can talk about the Catboy. But the worst case is Towa.
ああ、だから俺のことを聞いて回ってたのかと思って。
同じ名前の店ね。そんな店あったっけ？俺知らないな。
俺も。
昔あったんだよ。会員制の高級クラブの名前だね。
Oh? I think you misread something? Wait, what? Have I? They have been just talking. I don't usually read. Yeah, they were talking. I usually don't read over their dialogues though. My early message. Scrap Parasite. Very pretty. Then I guess I don't understand what you mean. I think I don't get what you mean.
はい、おかわり。
Supernatural, like everyone likes him, I guess. In a sense, I guess yes. If you mean like everyone likes the protagonist for some reason, I will say then yes. Some have better explanation than another. Also, I'm melting so much. Here's your order. He took the empty glass off the table and replaced it with the new glass.
あ、どうも。
店長、知ってるのか？
ああ、うん。Aトックがまだ元気だった頃、一部では有名な店だったんだよ。昔から新興民に住んでる人なら知ってるんじゃないかな。当時、高里組がやってる店の中でもかなり人気があったらしいから。ユーフォリア。意味は多幸感だね。まあ、特別珍しい言葉でもないし、名前が被ることもあると思うよ。
With that, the manager walked back behind the counter. I raised my cigarette to my lips and warily turned away from the regulars.
あれ？戸川君、トイレ
?24/7 waving at me. I have it on because I have to have both my window and my door closed. And while in the morning it's colder, in the afternoon it's not. I think it was like 27, probably right now it's around 28 degrees. Ain't no way I can survive that. Instead of answering, I walked back to my seat at the counter. According to the manager, Euphoria was a members-only luxury nightclub located in District A. Was my mother involved somehow? If the place was as popular as the manager claimed, then information about it could be easy to come by. And yet Fujieda was having to go to such great lengths to dig up anything. Or was he investigating something else? If he worked for the Takasato Gumi, then surely he had access to all the information he needed. Maybe I should ask Sakaki. I crashed my cigarette in the ashtray and down my drink. Then I pulled out my wallet, grabbed a few bills at random, and plunked them down at the counter. Before I could leave, however, the manager flagged me down.
これ、トワ君に渡してくれって頼まれたんだけど。
He handed me something and I took it. It's back! It was a lighter. A gleaming red and silver Zippo lighter. For a moment, my breath fluttered.
これ誰が持ってきたんだ？
I asked quietly without looking up from the lighter.
名前は聞かなかったんだ。ごめん。でも見たことのない人だったよ。
I never thought I would see this thing ever again. It was a gift from Madarame, but Madame died a long time ago. So what was it doing here?
コア君？
The manager's voice brought me back to my senses. I stuffed the lighter into my pocket and stand on my heel. Then I walked straight to the door and left the bar. I understand something. Hopefully. Maybe. But even as the sound of the chatter faded, the sickening holiday cheer still clogged the air. I turned down a dark, shadowy alley in the direction of the clinic. Back at my place, I pulled off my coat and lay down on the sofa. Then I switched on the TV and closed my eye. Madame's letter flickered through my mind, but I took it from my mind by thinking instead of everything that had happened lately. Euphoria, the nightclub that shared my name that my mother was involved with. Ikuina and Asakura, two figures from my past that I coincidentally could no longer speak to. Not to mention the ever-elusive Kirihara Nozomu. I keep pronouncing it wrong. And the mystery package containing fragments of my past. Who kept sending them, and for what purpose? What was Fujieda investigating? With a sigh, I rose from the sofa, grabbed my coat, and pulled out my phone. Then I placed a call to Sakaki. I waited for a while as it rang, but when it came clear he wasn't going to answer, I reluctantly hung up again. After I tossed my phone onto the sofa, I grabbed a blister pack of sleeping pills and popped one into my mouth. Then I grabbed the floor bottle, washed it down with a swing of booze, and lay back down. The thing about not combining medication with alcohol, he completely forgot that is a thing that exists. I knew sleep would probably bring more nightmares of my past. Normally I always forgot the details by the time I woke up, but now I was hoping to remember. To think I was trying to have nightmares on purpose. Scoffing at myself, I closed my eye and waited for sleep to come. He's now trying to force them. Here we go. To side effects, maybe. Fire. No, just fire red? The room was illuminated in brilliant scarlet. Someone was standing in front of me. But they were silhouetted by the light, so I couldn't see their face. With the fiery red light behind them, the figure gazed down at me silently. For some reason, my heart trembled. I felt like crying, but I didn't know why. Welp, there we go. Sure enough, I had a nightmare. Then I woke up the next day feeling like shit. Nausea and a migraine right out of the gate. I grimaced in pain. But this time I remembered my dream quite vividly. I was in a fiery red room, and a woman was standing there with me. I didn't get a good look at her face, but I could vaguely tell she had soft features. And yet I instantly feared her. Why? My head began to ache sharply. When I tried to remember more, the nausea intensified, and I raced into the bathroom. I puked into the toilet, then staggered to the sink to giggle and wash my face. This has been happening for 3 days in a row now. Back in the living room, I pulled a bottle of booze from the fridge and returned to the sofa, sipping occasionally. I set the bottle on the floor, then lit a cigarette. The nausea had receded, but the headache was still very much there. I grabbed my phone and checked the screen. I had received an email from Taco explaining that the clinic would be closed today for personal reasons. The fact that he couldn't come to tell me in person was proof of how busy he was. Personally, this suited me fine, because I was planning to go visit Sakaki today. Just in case, I decided I would give him a call in advance, but just then my phone buzzed. Conveniently, it was Sakaki calling.
はい。
とは起きてたか。昨日の夜着信があったからよ。どうした？
聞きたいことがある。今からそっちへ行ってもいいか？
ああ、と言っても事務所にはいねえぞ。
どこにいるんだよ。
教会だ。
He was probably referring to Shinkomi Cathedral.
すぐに行く。
I hung up, then immediately rose to my feet, grabbed my coat, and left the room. I arrived at the cathedral beneath a sky full of dull grey clouds. I couldn't sense anyone nearby, but the trees scratching off leaves as the wind blew them down the road. Just the trees scratching off leaves as the wind blew them down the road. So I walked to the entrance and stepped inside. The first thing I noticed was the vaulted ceiling. The only light source was the dim glow of the candles scattered all around. The pews were lined up in perfect and perfectly spaced rows. And at the very front, a man stood with his back turned, looking up at the crucifix on the far wall. When I approached, he looked over his shoulder at me. It was Sakaki.
よ、なんだ。
He shot me a suspicious look.
いつにも増して不健康そうな面してるな。どうせまた酒ばっか飲んでるんだろ。
夢見が悪いんだよ。
夢見？悪夢でも見るのか？
ああ、多分母親の。
At this, his expression stiffened. But he quickly turned back to the
あん
crucifix.
た信者だったのか？
信者？
なんでこんなところにいるんだよ。
今日はある人の命日でな。祈りを捧げたくなったんだ。
With that, he looked back at me. His expression was relaxed again, and he was smiling softly.
で、聞きたいことってなんだ？
They are talking again. Hopefully, he doesn't pick up on the mic. Hopefully. I stared into his eyes point blank.
母親について知りたい。
At this, he frowned his brow slightly, like a concerned parent. Then he slowly nodded.
そうか。少しずつ思い出してきてるのか。
俺の部屋にある懐中時計は母親の形見らしいな。
その話は誰から聞いた？
タクだよ。
うん。それで？
時計に刻まれたユーフォリアって文字。あんたはその意味を知ってるのか？
Fujieda had made some suggested comment about the nightclub, but were they actually connected?
知ってるぞ。
Takagi nodded, smiling.
ユーフォリアってのはお前の母親がやってた店の名前だ。
母親がやってた。
ああ。
Sorry to
あの懐中時計は開店記念で配られたノベルティなんだ。
It's a common amusement.
いや、偶然とはいえ、まさかお前が母親の店と同じ名前を名乗るなんてな。その話を聞いたときは、さすがに運命を感じたよ。やっぱり親子ってのは似るもんなんだってな。
He smiled in delight. I gazed back silently. Because I keep muting whenever I don't need to talk, the mic may back again, so at some point it sounds like a very weird static, let me know, because I just need to plug and unplug the mic. Okay?
他にも何か思い出したのか？
まだ聞きたいことがある。
なんだ？
まだらめのことだ。
Instantly, Sakaki leaves Carl in a frown.
その話はあまりしたくねえな。終わったか。
I want to shut up. Wait, no, you can shut up. You need to tell me. Ah! Please.
まだらめも加賀も死んだ。今さら掘り返しても何にもならねえだろ。
He knows he's lying. As I listen, I watch his smoke. It gets mine and changing colors relentlessly, suggesting his computer was merely an odd facade. On the inside, he was flustered. He was probably hiding something, but I knew no amount of bothering would get him to tell me.
それ以外の話なら聞くぞ。
じゃあ、藤枝は？
藤枝？弁護士か。あいつがお前のところへ行ったってのか。
Sakaki frowned.
あんたがやったんじゃないのか？
俺は知らねえぞ。
His smoke didn't waver. Apparently, he wasn't lying. In other words, Fujieda wasn't acting on Sakaki's orders. Was he working alone?
まあ、あんまり勝手なことはするなって言っとかねえとな。
With a sign, Sakaki is smiling and looked back at me.
それにしても、お前が母親のことを思い出してくれて、心底嬉しいんだ。今日はある人の命日だって言っただろう。お前の母親の命日なんだよ。
Just then, my vision began to sway.
今日ここでこうしてお前と母親の話ができるなんてな。運命としか言いようがねえ。なあ、とは。
He called my name in a solemn voice. I looked at him.
いろいろと気になることはあるだろうが、大丈夫だ。心配するな。すべていい方へ向かう。
He walked up to me and grabbed me on the shoulders with both hands. My side thinned and an intense wave of nausea stood up. Reflexively, I pushed him backwards.
おい、大丈夫か、お前。
He started to approach, but I held up a hand to stop him. Then I stumbled to the door. I could hear the same voice again. Don't remember. Don't dig any deeper. Despite puking, I still felt sick. Discomfort went in my gut. So I left the church and started back home to the clinic. I've told him about his mother whenever. I mean, he has never been actually interested in his family whatsoever. So why bother tell him? We have seen time and time again how he doesn't care at all about his father. So I can only imagine that for the most part, it's kind of the same vibe toward his mother. So like, why bother tell him if there is the possibility that he will also like shut it off. When I got home, I flopped down on the sofa and didn't get up until the sky was dark. The headache was still there, but the nausea was gone, so I decided to take a quick shower and head to Roost. Arriving at Roost, I walked to the counter and sat down.
トワ君、いらっしゃい。お任せ。
ああ。
Following our usual exchange, the manager got started on my drink. I pulled my cigarettes and lighter out of my coat pocket and slung one between my lips. They are talking so loudly. The more I kept digging, the more questions I had, and it felt like I was straying farther and farther from the answers I wanted. As I lit my cigarette, the manager set my drink down on the counter. I set my cig in the ashtray, grabbed the glass, and thought back to what Sakaki said to me. Now I had confirmation that Euphoria was the name of my mother's business. And Sagaki didn't seem to know about Fujieda sniffing around either. If he was working alone, then he had to have some sort of personal motive. Before I knew it, my glass was empty. I raised it at the manager to ask for another. Then, as I was taking a drag, someone plopped down next to me.
こんばんは、トワさん。
It was Eiji, and eventually he was alone.
あ
店長、モスコミュールをください。トワさんは？
もう頼んだ。
The manager set another drink down in front of me. I crashed my cigarette in the ashtray, then grabbed my glass.
あ、そういえば桐原なんですけど、ちょっと残念なお知らせです。
As I sipped my new drink, I looked over at him and waited for him to continue.
亡くなってました。トラックにひかれたそうで。
Wait, what? No. No. For a moment I froze. Then I set my drink down on the counter. Ikuina had killed himself. Asakura was in a coma, and now Kihara Nozumo had died in an accident. Plus, his older brother from the headshot had committed suicide too. Now I couldn't ask a single one of them about my past. Then the manager set a drink in front of Eiji.
ありがとうございます。桐原望はクリシュナというカフェでバイトしてたみたいですね。
Oh yes, so it was really him.
少し頼りない感じのある真面目な青年だったらしいです。あと調べてるうちに分かったことなんですが、どうも怪しい集団とつるんでたみたいで。
怪しい集団？
はい。それが事故と関係してるのかは分かりませんが。ま、人間何で死ぬかなんて誰にも分からないですしね。
Yeah, probably, maybe it's not he. I was out on the corner of my eye as he snuggled and took a sip of his drink. He specialized in all types of information gathering. It stood to reason that he might know something about Fujieda and or my mother's business.
ユーフォリアって店知ってるか？
At the sudden question, he whipped his head around and looked at me.
それ、他の人にも聞かれましたよ。藤枝さんっていう弁護士さんなんですけど。
Fujieda even managed to ask Eiji.
あと、トワさんのこともいろいろ聞かれました。藤枝さんとお知り合いなんですか？
知り合いってわけじゃない。
あ、じゃあ顔見知りとかそんな感じですか？まあ、そのお店のことはなんとなくしか聞いたことがなかったんで軽く調べてみたんですよ。でも記録が全然残ってなくて、結構有名な高級クラブだったみたいですね。表だって怪しいところは特になさそうな普通のキャバクラです。でも表面的には普通ってだけで全く怪しくないってことはないと思います。むしろ綺麗すぎて逆に怪しさ満点って感じで。
藤枝はそのごく普通のキャバクラを調べてる。雇い主を無視して単独でな。
それ僕も気になったから本人に聞いてみたんですよ。榊さんは知ってるんですかって。
なんて言ってた？
教えてもらえませんでした。すっごい嫌な顔されちゃって。でもこの話なんだかちょっとミステリアスで面白そうですよね。僕も個人的に少し調べてみようかな。
His tone suggested he was eager to play a fun new game, but then he looked at me intently.
ただ、多分これって高里組と新興民の闇につながってると思うんです。だからもしかしたら今までみたいにいろいろと教えることができなくなるかもしれません。僕の身も危なくなるかもしれないんで。
He spoke in a theatrically low voice and chuckled.
ま、高里組に迷惑がかかるようなことはしませんけどね。念のために他の人には内緒にしておいてください。その代わりトワさんの依頼は優先して聞きますし、何か知りたいことがあったら情報も提供します。
He smiled mischievously, but then he turned his head like he had thought of something.
トワさん、遠野さんってどうしてるか知ってます？
And he's so weird. Yes, but he's one of my favorite not main characters, and I think that's the general feeling of the fandom, that they really like Eiji.
いや、
ここのところさっぱり姿を見なくて。っていうか遠野さんもですけど、榊さん今すごく警戒してるんですよ。実質榊さんが組長みたいな感じになっちゃってるから、面白く思ってない連中も当然いますし。それにほら、聞いたことあります？ある幽霊の噂。
That you know of? My smile stiffened slightly.
その幽霊の正体っていうのが例の構想に関係してる人なんです。トワさんがよく知ってる人ですよ。もしその幽霊が生きてたとしたらどうします？
I look away, evading his pointed gaze.
どうもしない。
そもそも
That was
その
Papa's
幽霊
new
の
coffee.
存在を信じます？
冗談だろ。
I scoffed at him, but then that red and silver sepal lighter rose up in the back of my mind. He gazed back at me, smiled, and wordlessly raised his glass to his lips. As for me, I lit another cigarette and took a long, slow drag. I wish he would stop, but it ain't gonna happen. But the nicotine felt unusually bitter in my tongue, so I only took a few more puffs before crushing it in the ashtray. He doesn't feel like smoking? For once? He must be in a very, very bad shape. I left Rust and walked down the dark street, breathing in the night air. Eiji said he had an errand to run, so he left ahead of me. Then I got drunk, and now my brain was fuzzy from the booze. So many questions and absolutely no answers. Dark emotions built in my chest. I was so confused and felt sick, and my head ached. It felt like every inch of my body was filled with slag, and it made me wish someone would just slash me open. My brain was rotting in my skull. Anyone would do. I just needed to get it out of my system. When I looked up, I realized there was a few people standing idling around. Come to think of it, this area was known colloquially as Bothell Street. Prostitutes of all ages and genders came here to turn tricks. At one point, I tried standing in a corner around here purely out of curiosity, but coming all this way was such a hassle I didn't last long. The hookers were here wore a variety of outfits, from modest to provocative. I paused to take in the sights around me, but right as I was about to keep walking, I felt a gaze and looked over. An unfamiliar man was looking at me, and when our eyes met, he walked over.
あんた、トアだろ？
誰だ？
You are right, not a single NPC has a nice looking face.
俺、ずっと前にあんたのことを見てから気になってたんだけどさ、まさかここにあんたが来るとは思ってなかったからびっくりしたよ。ここにいるってことは、つまり、そういうことだよな。
He smiled. It was clear that what his intentions were. I mulled it over for a moment, then smiled faintly. I hate. Whenever he makes that face, he's up to no good.
ラッキー、聞いてみるもんだ。
こっち。
I jerked my chin in the direction of a narrow alley, and I started walking. His hands are ugly. Don't worry, I can see the comments. I can see it. They are all ugly. I saw. As his footsteps followed after me, I came to a stop at the dead end of the other side of the alley and turned back to face him. With a lascivious grin, he wore both arms around me. But before he could latch on, I pushed him lightly back.
なあ、どうしたい？
I whispered as I gazed into his eyes.
だって。
俺にどうしてほしい？
そりゃ。
頼みがある。
なんだ？
ナイフ 持ってるか？
はああ、小さいやつならあるけど。
He reached into his pants pocket and pulled out a Swiss army knife. He handed it to me. I took it and pulled out one of the blades.
切ってくれ。
何？
これで俺を切ってほしい。ズタズタに引き裂いてくれ。
え？
As he looked back at me in horror, I rolled up myself and pressed the knife to my bare skin. Then I dragged it in a straight line that quickly turned scarlet as fresh blood rose to the surface.
おい、やめろよ。簡単だろ。すぐに切れる。ほら、早く。
As the cut of my arm ached, I pressed the blade to my chest and slashed it downwards. He needs help. Please. It slid through my shirt and skin, and the swelling pain made me exhale. Even in the dark, I could tell that my shirt was turning red. But I was hungry for more pain, so I cut my arm again. My breathing grew uneven as my senses heightened. Then I pressed the blade against my shirt and dragged it in a different direction down my chest. He looked at me in terror, took a few steps backwards, and bolted from the spot. But I was so engrossed in cutting myself, I didn't even notice that he had left until later. Blood dripped down my arm in a veiny pattern as I inflicted more cuts in my chest, stomach, and legs. Breathing heavily, I folded the blade closed and dropped the knife onto my coat pocket. Cutting myself had helped somewhat to ease the pressure I felt inside. The dark emotions pent up in my chest. Pent and in my chest must have leaked out through the new holes in my skin. Enjoying the pleasant pain, I headed back down the alley. My mind felt feverish. I couldn't think straight. I stand alone with no clue where I was going. Every now and then I could pass someone who would look at me in alarm. In this town, if you didn't have any caring friends, no one would reach out to help you, no matter how injured you were. Being nice to people would only get you manipulated. Besides, it wasn't all that uncommon to see a guy walking down the street dripping blood. So they all made sure to avoid eye contact as much as possible so they couldn't get dragged into any trouble. This was incoming culture in a nutshell. When Fujieda first appeared, I thought this was the scene that was going to happen, so... All mine so far. Yeah. Suddenly, I found myself at the park. I was too tired to look up, so I walked alone, staring at the ground, until I bumped into something. My lifeless legs gave out and hit the ground.
君は
The familiar, or should I say despicably unforgettable voice, drew my attention, and I looked up. Oh wow! Hi there! Of all the men I could have bumped into, it just had to be Fujieda. Behind his glasses, his eyes narrowed in disgust.
すごい格好だな。
Style for you, my man? But Fujieda wasn't wearing his usual fancy get-up. His hair was now messy, and his coat was dirty. Upon further inspection, his cheek was red and swollen. Suddenly, he offered me a hand. I ignored him and rose to my feet.
そっちこそ自分の格好を鏡で見てこいよ。
He retracted his hand, shot me an icy sneer, and started walking.
待て。
I called after him. He stopped short, let out a dramatic sign, and slowly turned back to look at me.
なんだ。
あんたが俺の周りを嗅ぎ回ってるのは知ってる。それを隠す気がないことも。
I could barely get my tongue to cooperate. Swallowing my saliva, I was trying to string more words together.
知りたいのはユーフォリアのことか。
He didn't answer, but I didn't care.
俺は昔のことをほとんど覚えてない。母親の顔もろくに思い出せない。
His eyebrows shifted suspiciously.
なのにどういう空前なんだか。最近やたらと過去に関わる厄介事ばかり起きる。でも過去を忘れてるんじゃ対処のしようがない。だから俺は自分の過去を調べてる。ユーフォリア、店にいた人間のことも知ってる。
I meant my mother, of course. But Fujieda probably didn't know that she used to run the place. Fujieda lowered his head and fixed me with a piercing, probing stare.
提案だ。俺が持ってる店の情報と引き換えに、あんたが何を調べてるのか教えろ。俺なら、あんたが知りたがってる情報を高里組、榊から引き出すことができるかもしれない。
He stared at me in silence. Then finally he looked away.
君を信用していいのかわからない。
だったら信用できるようにすればいいんだな。
何をするつもりだ。
証明してやるよ。
I don't remember what he's going to do. I'm scared. I smirk at him.
準備ができたらこっちから連絡する。あんたの気が変わって連絡してくる分にはいつでも歓迎だ。
I don't remember exactly what he's planning. I'm very scared. I don't like this though. Same. With that, I started to walk off, but my legs buckled and I staggered. He reached out and grabbed me by the arm. The distance between us closed. An unfamiliar smell wafted to my nose. His natural scent, perhaps. I saw this CG earlier, but I forgot the context of it. Okay. I got up on tiptoe and pressed my lips to his. He shot me backwards and sent me rolling back to the ground. I could see him grinning at me with a hand cupped over his mouth. I completely forgot the context of that CG. Okay. His sight made me laugh.
お近づきの挨拶
だ。Okay. He glared at me vehemently, then turned and walked off. Talking to myself, as I stared on the ground and watched him go. For the briefest moment, I got the perfect steely compost to crack, and now it was tickled pink. But although I told him I had convinced him, I told him I could convince him I was trustworthy, I didn't have any clue how to go about it. Now I have to actually come up with something. I didn't like him much, but there was only so much I could investigate on my own. If we were both investigating the same thing, then it could be far more efficient for us to team up. That much was a fact. I exhaled, then slowly heaved myself onto my feet. Most of the cuts had stopped bleeding, except for the ones on my chest. Dragging my heavy body, I slowly headed for the clinic. How come if the other person isn't being a freak to what isn't a finger? He be like that. When I got there, the lights were still on in the waiting room. According to Taco's message, the clinic was closed today, but apparently someone was here. I walked around to the side entrance, unlocked the door, and let myself in. Moments later, I hear someone walking down the hall, possibly to investigate the noise. It was Taco.
どうしたんだ。喧嘩でもしたのか。
He frowned and stood over to me.
ずいぶんひどいな。
今日休みじゃなかったのか。
ん？ああ。
He averted his eyes hesitantly.
もう終わったんだ。それより怪我を見せてみろ。
They mentioned that Tono has been out of reach. Is he still being forced to work for him? Probably yes.
ほっとけよ。
そうもいかんだろう。こっちへ来い。
As he spoke, he reached out. Anaya smacked his hand away.
とは
触るな。
すぐ戻るから少し待ってろ。
He held up both hands in a wide gesture, then hurried back down the hall. After a moment, he returned carrying something under his arm.
せめてこれ持っていけ。
At least take this culture. Okay. He offered me a first aid kit. As I stood there in silence, he forced it into my hands.
受け取らないなら俺が部屋まで持ってくぞ。
I snatched the stupid first aid kit out of his hands. I did not want him following me upstairs. Ideally, I didn't want him setting foot in my apartment at all. There was no telling whether he might try to steal my stuff. Come to think of it, had I received anything else since then? Or was that stack of papers the last delivery?
俺宛ての荷物、他には届いてないのか？
ないぞ。
お前が取ったんじゃないだろうな。
もうそんなことはしない。
He frowned back at me. I shot him one final look, then headed for the elevator. When I reached the third floor, I walked into my apartment. Then I tossed the first aid kit onto the sofa, ripped off my coat and shirt, and sat down. The cuts were still painful, but I didn't feel like treating them. Instead, I switched on the TV and grabbed a blister pack of sleeping pills off the coffee table. I popped one into my mouth, then grabbed the floor bottle and washed it down with both. If I slept, I would probably have another nightmare. And when I woke up, I would feel shitty and restless, and I would have a migraine. But something told me my dreams might provide important clues. Since when did I start giving a shit about my past? But more importantly, what would happen once I remember everything? Maybe nothing will change, or maybe everything will. I rested my head against the back of the sofa and closed my eye. Here we go again! The room was thin with a scarlet light. I lay weakly on my side. All around me, I could hear murmuring. There were multiple people here. People breathing, people whispering, clothes rustling. And their eyes were all fixed on me. Eyes as curious as a child's. It was creepy. It was sickening. I wanted to puke. But at some point, I stopped feeling that way anymore. I take back my box. Not a very nice one. When I awoke, I feel like trash again. So I just lay there on the sofa and half listened to the turn of the TV. Once I started feeling a bit better, I sat up and grabbed my phone from the other side of the sofa. No words from Fujieda. I tossed the phone back where it was and looked at the TV. As I watched the images fly by in a kaleidoscopic blur, I thought to myself, how could I get Fujieda to trust me? He probably couldn't be satisfied with my info if he felt he could have gotten it himself. Sakaki seemed happy that I was remembering my mother. Maybe he would tell me more about her if I asked him nicely. Guess I need to talk to Sakaki again. I rose from the sofa, got ready, and left the room without turning off the TV. A very packed episode today.
アポもなしに急に来たな。今日はどうした？
Sakaki sat in his leather chair with both hands on his desk, looking at me in amusement.
母親のことで話がある。
なんだ？言ってみろ。
いい加減苦しくなってきたんだ。
Agreements bitterly stared down at the floor and clenched my hands into fists.
母親のことを思い出せそうなのに顔すら思い出せない。それが苦しくて辛くて。
He's acting. I'm so sorry. It's very funny. It's so obvious. He's faking it. It was all an act, of course. I wanted to appeal to Sakaki's emotions to improve my chances of getting information. So I looked at him beseechingly.
何か母親のことがわかるものはないのか。何でもいい。
He looked at me in silence for a while. Then he opened a Dextronen and reached in.
マヤが写ってる写真がある。
Maya? He set a photograph down on the desk. There I could see a group of well-dressed women. Then he pointed to one of them.
この人がお前の母親だ。
Slowly I exhaled. So this was her. In the photo the one was smiling softly. Her expression was affectionate. Just then a wave of dizziness washed over me, and I braced myself against the desk.
おい、大丈夫か？
Sakaki rose from his chair.
そこのソファーに座れ。
As the edge of my vision turned black, I walked to the sofa and collapsed down on it. I could hear the same voice again. Don't remember. Don't dig any deeper. Then Sakaki walked over and set the photo onto the coffee table in front of me.
これはお前にやろう。唯一マヤが写っている写真だ。
As he spoke, he lowered his gaze to the photo with a melancholy expression on his face.
マヤはいい女だった。さすが組長が見初めた女だと思ったよ。おかしな意味じゃなく、純粋に尊敬してたんだ。
There you have the photo. There. If it's not obvious, it's the one with the black long hair.
それに、マヤは愛情深くてな。お前をとても愛していたよ。お前、そんな素晴らしい母親を亡くしたんだ。お前が記憶を失うほどのショックを受けたとしても仕方がない。
But for some reason, I found myself questioning this. Did I really love my mother? The instant the thought crossed my mind, an indescribable feeling welled up inside me. The longer I looked at the woman in the photograph, Maya, the more uneasy I felt.
マヤは階段から落ちて亡くなったんだ。
階段
Just then, a speeding headache erupted in my skull, making me grit my teeth. The voice in my head was getting louder and louder.
どうした？
なんでもない。それより階段から落ちたのか。
お前も巻き込まれて一緒にな。その時頭を打ったショックで記憶を失ったんだ。
Now we know.
それは事故だったのか。
そうだ。
I excused Sakaki's smoke, but didn't notice any changes. Apparently, he was telling the truth. I had thought maybe Ikuina, Asakura, and Kirihara were involved somehow, but evidently not.
もっとマヤのことを思い出してやってくれ。そうすれば彼女も喜ぶだろう。
He spoke in a quiet voice, full of emotion.
そうだな。
I answered guardedly and rose from the sofa without looking at him. Then I grabbed the photo, stuffed it into my coat pocket, and started to the door.
少し休んでった方がいいんじゃねえか。
いい。
いや、そんなんじゃ危ねえから人を連れてけ。おい、五十嵐。
He beat me to the door, opened it, and shouted out into the hall.
父さん。
Igarashi walked into the study and looked at me in surprise.
体調が悪いらしい。送ってってやれ。
はい。
Igarashi put an arm around my shoulders for support, then escorted me out of the room.
父さん、この間から本当大丈夫っすか？
ああ。
I nodded, and together we left the office. The dizziness had faded along with the voice in my head, but I still feel like utter shit. So it seems to have been down bad. I guess it's kind of relevant. So remember that Taku also like respected her a lot. That was like an important point on his route. So people around her seems to like her. Back at my place, my condition showed no sign of improving. Lying on the sofa, I used my photo to take a digital photo of the paper photo. So many photos in the same sentence. Then send it to the email address listed on Fujieda's business card. That was fast. Then I headed myself up into a sitting position, rested my full weight against the back of the sofa, and had a smoke. That is until I got a phone call from Fujieda himself.
ああ、件名も本文もなかったが、誰の画像なんだ？
俺の母親。
He fell silent.
それは
ユーフォリア。店をやってたのは俺の母親だ。
なんだって？
榊が写真を持ってた。証明としては十分だろ。目的が同じなら俺と組んだ方が効率がいい。もっと知りたければあんたが何を調べてるのかを話せ。
I touched the message in my gut so he couldn't hear how hard I was breathing. I was breathing.
確かに。この女性は君に似ているな。
母親だからな。
過去については何か思い出したのか？
いや。
そうか。ならば、思い出した時にまた連絡してくれ。
And with that, he ended the call. Anyways, I will probably finish the stream soon because having the door and the window closed, even though I have the fan on, I'm melting. So I guess we will reach like the next scene change and end it for today. I pulled the phone away from my ear and let out a heavy sigh. I was still dizzy, but nevertheless I tried to call him back. I wanted him to tell me whether he agreed to my proposal. At this rate, our exchange was purely one-sided. Just then, his voice revived in my ears. Instantly, I was struck with an indescribable impulse. I flagged my phone down and ran into the bathroom. Then I looked in the mirror and squinted at my reflection. Did that woman and I really look alike? Not just slightly, but quite a bit? Well, of course we did. We were blood related after all. A feeling resembling anger welled up. Gritting my teeth, I punched the mirror. There came a deafening crash as my reflection shattered into fragments. But that wasn't enough. I slammed my forehead into the broken mirror. Over and over and over. The shards cut my skin. Blood flickered onto the mirror. One bloodless trickled down the center of my face. Breathing heavily, I picked up a shard of the mirror and peered into it. It showed the same reflection as all the rest, now with blood streaming from my forehead. Well, that's a start. But maybe I should destroy my whole face for good measure. Spread with the same impulse, I pressed the shard of glass hard against my cheek. I could feel the tip sinking into my skin, sparking a tiny prick of pain. My mother's face flashed through my mind. That kind, sweet, smiling woman. Her lips slowly moved, forming words, but I couldn't hear her voice. I focused all my attention on her mouth in an attempt to read her lips. Out of nowhere, I felt a violently intense impact like jumping awake from a dream. Slowly, I lowered the shard away from my cheek and stared down into it. I just realized something, which makes everything that will happen later even more scary. The sight of my own face covered in blood was too funny for words. Why was I losing my shit over a woman I could barely remember? I pressed the glass into my palm and dragged it roughly across the skin. A scarlet line erupted into the shard's wake, spewing blood from my wrist and between my fingers. The pain burst in time with my heartbeat as the blood flowed, and oddly enough, it was a comforting sight. What did you realize? You will find out, or more like I will have to explain it a tiny bit. In the end, I dozed off on the sofa without treating my cats, or maybe I simply passed out.
起きて。トア、ねえ、起きてってば。
I could hear someone calling for me desperately.
トア、起きてよ。トア、ね
え。もう起きてる。
No wonder Ray was so worried. He is still covered in blood. I could tell from his voice that it was Ray. Gently, I grabbed his hand to stop him shaking me.
よかった。生きてた。トア。
Sniffing, he donned a relief smile.
様子を見に来たら血まみれでソファに倒れてるんだもの。死んだのかと思って本気でびっくりしたんだから。
At this, I sat up and looked down at myself. Given the bloodstains all over my hands and clothes, I could see how Ray would freak out.
何があったの？喧嘩？
Worriedly, I jerked my chin at the bathroom. He started up, walked over, and peeked in.
何あれ？どうしてあんなことしたの？
さあ。
さあじゃないでしょ。頭突きでもした？
In response, I lifted my bangs to show him the cuts of my forehead. The blood drained from his face.
額を切ったのね。その手も同じね。
As he spoke, he grabbed the first aid kit off the floor. It was the same one Taco had forced me to take.
タクは診察中だし、手当てくらいなら私でもできるから。
He's so sweet. He bent over, parted my bangs, and began to treat my cat.
動かないでよ。
I watched him as he worked.
パーティー来なかったんだな。
え？あ、うん。
If you hear rain noises, there is a storm. He stopped and averted his gaze.
何かあったのか。お前が一番楽しみにしてたのに。
ちょっと具合が悪くなっちゃって。行けなくて本当に残念だったわ。
He spoke quickly, and his smoke twitched restlessly. He was hiding something.
そういえば、藤枝さんがユーフォリアについて調べてるってやつ、何か分かったの？
母親の顔が分かった。
Right as he went back to treat my cat, he stopped again.
どういうこと？
榊から母親の写真をもらった。
It would be nice, but I have the window closed to avoid the noise speaking on the mic. So I really want to finish it so I can open both the door and the window so my room can ventilate a bit. I'm melting. He nodded pensively. His gaze drifted to the floor. Then he looked back at me intently.
ねえ、 お母さんの写真見たい。
I had no reason to hide it from him, so I looked over at the sofa.
その辺にある。
その辺って大事なものなのに適当なんだから。もうあった。
Mumbling to himself, he looked around the sofa until he spotted the photo.
確かに目鼻立ちが似てるような気がするわ。
He gazed at the photo for a while, then looked back at me sadly.
もしかして鏡を割ったのってそのせい
かもな。
お母さんのことを嫌いだった？
覚えてない。
じゃあどうして？
さあ。
I honestly didn't have an answer. I didn't know why I did it. Photo in hand, Ray hung his head, biting his lip.
もうやめた方がいいと思う。
He mumbled under his breath.
なんだか変な感じがする。あの藤枝って人の動きもおかしいし、うまく言えないけど、すごく嫌な感じがするの。とは、お母さんのことは覚えてないんでしょ？それってどうしても思い出したいの？どうしても過去のことが知りたい？
He looked at me imploringly.
ねえ、やめよう。これ以上藤枝さんにも関わらない方がいいわ。過去なんて必要ない。今のままでもいいじゃない。とはだってその方がいいでしょ。
I was fine just the way I was. Was I really though? Admittedly, I didn't start feeling shitty until those mystery packages started arriving. Then I started having nightmares every night. And bad things happened to the people from my past, and Fujieda started getting noisy. Even the forgotten memories of my mother were starting to unravel. Frankly, I was tempted to throw in the towel. After all, it was the voice in my head. Well, it was what the voice in my head wanted. If I listened to it, then I would need to quit digging. But I had already come so far. If I could just remember my past, it could explain the nightmares and answer all my questions. Suddenly, Ray set the photo on the coffee table and went back to giving me first aid. Likewise, I watched wordlessly as he bandaged my palm. After he was done, he fixed me with a pained look, almost like the wounds were his, not mine.
傷お大事にね。鏡も片付けなきゃね。
He packed everything back into the first aid kit, then left the room. But I continued to stare at my palm long after he was gone. Okay, I can end it now. I need to open the window. Where is the mouse? Save love menu. We are almost done with this page. The first time I played on my own, I didn't even feel all of this, and there are like 4 more pages. So like, anyways, that will be it for today. Thanks for coming to the stream. I will now open the window and let the storm cold air come into my room. Israel info dumped, yeah. It's one after another, and we are just getting started. So be prepared. And when the line I meant on the description of the video was related to the scene of him cutting himself. So yeah, I can't wait for the payoff. In my opinion, it was really worth it. Hope for you it will also be the case. Still less involved than I thought. Don't worry, just wait. Oris is longer than I thought. I think his route is a few hours longer than Fujieda's. Like both of them are just one chapter things. I think his route is like 2 hours or 3 hours longer than Madarame's. Something like that. So it's longer, yeah. Anyways, I gotta stop here. Back, title menu. Yes. Okay. See you all in 2 days on the purple platform that can't be named here. Bye bye.